Okay, good old pump springs.
Got a washing machine that spins but won't drain. Okay, washer is not empty all the way. Most often causes a coin stuck in the drain line. Looks like this here, where it gets smaller. It usually gets stuck right there. Actually just going to be changing the drain line and the pump. And this is the coupler that goes behind the motor. Probably will not need to change that. Anyway, got to remove the two screws here and then lift the front panel up and off of the feet, which are right here. Here's our pump and our drain line. I'm going to put the lid back on and it's up to drain the rest of the water. Well, it's just to kind of peek at what's going on here. So I reconnected the lid switch here, and now I'm going to run the washer to try to drain the water. I need to put it ahead to the drain cycle, spin cycle. There it goes. And most likely it's a clog back here. On the peak, I'm going to put some light in there. Properly and that the coupling is working properly. What happens sometimes, this is the coupling and it goes right between the transmission and the motor on this side, and what can happen is this can crack and then it's not spinning properly. So what I'm going to do is just lightly touch, put a little pressure on the spinning motor right here to make sure the coupling is just fine with pressure on it. And it is. So our coupling is fine. It's our pump and possibly something down the drain. You can hear something rattling around inside under the bin, so make sure I clear that out. And it sounds like it could be in the pump. Again, I'm going to be just changing the pump. Like a new one right here. I don't want to mess around, just want to get this done. pull it, and then I'll re-pull the lid off. Okay. What I want to do is vacuum from this hose right here. Earlier you can see where the screw holes were that I removed to slide the top panel forward and take it off. I'm going to vacuum from that back hose right there, so I'm going to get my wet dry vacuum hooked up. I'll disconnect it there, and I'm going to replace that whole hose. So I disconnect it anyway. Vacuum hooked up and ready to go. Now we're going to pull that hose off, and then we'll vacuum from there, and that'll clear any water that's left in the bin. Makes this whole job a lot easier. It's really one of the main secrets to working on a washing machine. I used to have to deal with the flood underneath the washing machine every time before I developed this trick. So now we'll just vacuum from right here. Here comes some noise. Now we're clear there, and that'll make it much easier taking off the pump and getting the whole thing going. I'll keep my vacuum here just in case there's any little bit of residual left. I don't actually have to take the bottom hose off on the side for the pump, but I could. We definitely do need to take the top one off. Here's the top one. Move it back, and then I'll disconnect. We had a little bit of water in there. I'll vacuum all that out, and after I'm done, needs a little cleaning anyway. And we can take the bottom one off as well, or I can just take it off after I pull the whole hose out. Either way. Since I'm replacing this one, I might as well pre-do it and set it up, so I can actually make this whole job a lot easier. What I've got is my new hose. And my new pump. The bottom one's a little bit trickier to put on, but it's not too hard to do it in place either. You just reach around and squeeze it and pull it through, but since I've got this one out and ready, I can just do it like so. And pre-do the bottom one. There we go, this one's ready. And I'll just run this up to the top and around. And again on this one, what we've got is these two clips here. Use a flat blade screwdriver. Let's see. Got my flat blade. This is the easiest way to do this. There we go. And then these just turn in. Got a little key that turns in, turns out. So that's pretty easy. Okay. And like I was telling you, we can either pull this apart and see if we have any obstruction in there. I can go ahead and do that, just so you see the process in theory. I normally would do it and then pull it apart here. Now there may be a little bit of water in here because we may have a clog there. Yep. There's our stuff there. It's clogged and it's right here. So looks like little bits of copper and wire all hanging up, keeping it from draining properly. So I probably didn't necessarily need to replace this, but I'm going to anyway. There's also a coin here. So let's see. What do we got here? I don't want to push it in further. I just want to pull it out. There we go. Got 11 cents, a dime, and a penny. And that's it. That's what was clogging it up. The little bits of debris. And I could prove this is done. Or I can change my hose. Well, let's see. Still got my hose hooked up here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull it out. Got my new one, no big deal. Looks like we got a little bit more water in there. Mostly because it wouldn't vacuum out before. Anyway, again, I can show you proving here that the hose is working. I'll prove our new one as well. So here's our new hose. We're going to run up to the top. And the way I usually line this up with this is just to turn it so that it's facing straight up and down. And then on this one, turn this one so it's also facing straight up and down. That seems to work out the best for me, aligning these. I've got my keyed in anchor right here. If we needed to replace the coupling, which this one I don't, we would remove the two screws here, undo those clamps, fold the motor forward, take the motor out, disconnect, pull the disconnect, and then replace the coupling. And you can see there's two sides to this that just fit together. Like so. The rubber piece in the center makes them meet up, and then this just goes on the motor mount on the other side, just like so. It's a special deal. Anyway, that's that. If you ever needed to replace the coupling, sometimes you'll hear that rattling if you did. Anyway, on our old pump, we can check for any more debris in there and actually reuse this elsewhere if we wanted to. I'm just going to be junking this one. I got new ones anyway. Okay, so now I'll be running our hose up to the top. Same path of the old one. Getting it around back and up to our, taking it around back up to our port here. And I'll just reset this one. There we go. It's on nice and tight now. Okay. And this deal actually tucks in back yonder. We don't want that really floating around where it can rub against anything. So there is usually an anchor right here. Found the anchor, put it under the anchor. I'm not sure you can see the anchor too well, but I'll just put you in there for a look. Okay. And now we're going to run our pump right here. A little bit back, which I might have to pull it through that anchor a little bit. There we go. Okay, now we'll slip the pump on the coupling. We'll put the hose, top hose, into the top hose, and then we'll need to squeeze this and pull it forward. It's a good idea to position it where it'll be easy for you in the future if you need to get back in there. I find that one works good right on the top like so. Okay, there we go. And now we've got our key deal that's going to rotate in right here. And now we can push it on, and the same on the bottom. This part's a little tricky. I might pull that top one off and start with the bottom one. Bottom one's usually a little bit tougher to get it. Okay. Ow. Okay, there's the bottom one. And there's the top one. Okay. Go there, and we're all connected. We are anchored in, so that's good. At this point, it's a good idea to check things out. Another thing to check is this up here to make sure this clamp is seated up high enough, and it is. So what we'll do is we'll put our lid back on so that it can engage the lid switch. You can also make a jumper to test this out, but it's easy enough just to put the lid back on also. That's how I usually do it. Okay. And now we'll see because it's completely dry. It also could be a cracked coupling, but I don't think it is. It could also be other little bits of debris. So anyway, that's the debris we found. I don't want to put too much water, just enough to really test it out. The nice thing is this pump is almost a little see-through. I'll go ahead and put it now to the drain cycle. Rotate it all the way to the spin. The spin. Oh, now it's nice and quiet. But yeah, that noise was just the pump running completely dry. We'll check for leaks. I got no leaks. Check for leaks at the back there. We're good there. And we're all fixed. That's changing the hose and the pump, and all due to some coins and other little debris. Anyway, we're good to go there. Nice new pump. Washing machine rebuilt. Good to go. Now just put it back together. Okay, so putting the machine back together. Go ahead and turn it off. Or disconnect up top. Redisconnect that. And now we got our front panel. It has two square holes that are going to line up with the teeth here and anchor in. Just kind of got to lift it in the right spot, which can be definitely easier said than done. I'm in there, so that's good. And now we're going to attach our screws to here and here. This one, a lot of times you got to pick up this side hose in order to tighten it down. The other side is really straightforward. It's just nice and straight through. But anyway, this one, we can put it back now. It's got this little peg that goes in the hole there, and then a screw that anchors it in. And then we've got our hose clamp guides here. Nice and easy there. Again, making sure that this hose is slipped up high enough, and it is. Okay. And next we'll add this little screw here that anchors this and keeps this from popping off and falling down if the machine was to have an unbalanced load and bounce around a little bit. That screw right there just anchors that in place. Okay. Next we've just got our screw on the back side right here. So that's nice and easy. Tighten that down. Lastly, we've got our lid. And while you're lifting this up, you want to be careful to not lose these seals here. So they're kind of easy, but you just kind of balance it like that. Some people will tape them in place before doing it. And at this point, you want to make sure you don't forget to re-plug your disconnect in. So obviously the machine's not going to work without that lid switch being plugged in. Tuck that underneath. And then this gets slid into these two plastic anchors. And now we can reattach our screws at the back. Maybe this time I can get you a little bit of light. Now a lot of times you won't be able to see these, you'll just be kind of doing it blind, which is not too hard. There it is for me. And now tighten that screw. And exact same on the other side. There's our screw hole. We'll just run the screw to that. And we'll be good there. Down the screw. Lost my flashlight. Okay. Again, it's just a tiny bit tricky not being able to see it, but you can kind of feel for it, find it. It's not too bad. So just tighten that down. Big deal. Okay, and now we're ready to put our back cover on. On this one, you want to make sure this little black gasket on the bottom is in place. It's very easy for it to pop off and get lost. I've got it in place. Gonna go ahead and set the final screws on. These are the access panel screws. Good to go. Just tighten those down. The washing machine is back in business. Alright, that's how you can rebuild a washing machine. Good to go. All that trouble for 11 cents. And some little bits of copper and such. Anyway, good to go. All fixed.